guys, it's Kayla. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've watched some of my videos before. Today, we're talking about The Great Hunt by Robert Jordan, second book in the Wheel of Time. Wheel of First Time, a series on my channel that I have planned on filming, and yet I haven't read a Wheel of Time book since probably March. And I don't know what else to say other than I just got distracted by books. There's so many books, so little time. Things just happened and I didn't read it. I started it at one point and it just wasn't what I was feeling, and I put it down, and then here we are in August. Completed the book. So man, I have a lot of thoughts on this book, and I'll go ahead and say I like this so much more than Eye of the World. Like, leaps and bounds beyond my enjoyment of that book. Like, at the end of that book I was like, it's good, but it wasn't like, I enjoyed it, but I wasn't blown away by it. This book, on the other hand, I get it, okay? I get it. This is good, okay? I'm already started the Dragon Reborn. This video is gonna be full of spoilers. Whole thing. All spoilers. You've been warned. Let's go ahead and get the negatives out of the way so we can talk about all the things that I really liked. Initially, the first 150 pages, which I don't mind. I will read a couple hundred pages of an epic fantasy book before things get going. I don't mind that at all. There is a lot to remember and learn in that time frame. The number of names of people, not only in the Aes Sedai party and the warders, the people that are in Fardala. I don't remember the name of the place in the beginning. I just don't. But there's just so many people that it was really hard for me to remember every single one. And so initially I felt like overwhelmed by all of the things that were happening when nothing was really happening. It was mostly just Rand running around being like, I'm not the Dragon Reborn. And everyone was like, okay, Dragon Reborn, whatever you say. And just like trying to hide and escape from the Aes Sedai, which, to be fair, I get. I wouldn't want to deal with them either if they were going to gentle me. Other than that, though, other than the beginning, I don't think I had any issues with this book. I liked the different ways that the characters were paired off. I loved each individual storyline. I will say that I liked Egwene and Nynaeve's storyline the best, but Magic School, if you will recall, is one of my favorite things. And having them at the White Tower, learning to become Aes Sedai, like, I do wish there was more of that. Like, more of just them being there and kind of learning, as opposed to that kind of being glossed over. But that's just a personal preference. I really like learning about stuff like that. I did really like the political aspect of it, learning about the different colored Aja of the Aes Sedai. In the beginning of this book, I'm going to be jumping all over the place, but in the beginning of this book, Liandrin is introduced, the red Aes Sedai, who's with the party that have come to Fardalen. We're going to just call it Fardalen, and if it's wrong, that's what I'm going to call it through the whole video. So the Amyrlin Seat comes, and Liandrin's with them, and I missed her completely channeling on Rand when he's like wiping away evidence on the walls, and he's not even doing a good job. Rand is such a dum-dum. I think that's one of my main problems with him as a character. He's just like, which it makes sense though. I don't hate him, but he's my least favorite character to read about. Like, I like his point of view as in like what's happening to him, but I'm not a huge fan of him as like a human being. But so he's like wiping away the blood with like his sleeve or whatever, like that's gonna make a big difference, and he gets caught in the act, of course, and then Liandrin channels on him, but I didn't realize that's what was happening. So when the whole Black Aja revelation happened with Egwene and Nynaeve at the Waygate, I was like, didn't even know. I honestly was like, maybe she's a good red Aja. Maybe she's a good guy. Of course she's not. Is there a good red Aja? I don't know. They're all real angry as far as I can tell. Maybe my mind will change, but potentially not. I just don't know. Also at Tar Valon and the White Tower, seeing Nynaeve's like portal, whatever that was, like with the maze and like with land and stuff like that. Oh my gosh. I love Nynaeve. She's my favorite character. I love that she gets angry and is able to use her powers, because I feel like that's how I feel like I'm at my most powerful, when I'm angry. Maybe that's why I relate to her so much. But I really enjoy her as a character. I like that she's like, you guys are all idiots and I'm just mad and fireball. I just really liked her. I also really liked seeing the Taviran like touch basically on things. So like having Elaine and Min all being at the White Tower, and the camaraderie that the girls had between each other, and like how they really seem to care for each other and just want the best for everybody and to work really hard. I like that even though they all seem to have a crush on Rand, they were like, yeah, whoever wins wins, I guess. Didn't seem to be like a whole lot of animosity between them as far as that went. Like a little bit of like tense moments, I guess. But there weren't any like really petty moments between them. Not any like bickering, like he's mine type situation, which I really appreciated. The next plot line that I really liked was the portal that Rand opens up through the portal stone. I liked the different types of timelines, essentially, with all of them ending with Balsamon basically winning against Lews Therin, and just seeing like this whole other like alternate world, timeline, dimension type situation, because it really opens up the possibilities that are going to happen with this book. Because I'm going to be honest, the first book I was like, how is there 14 books in this series? 15? 14? Whatever. It just like, what's going to happen? How is this justified? All of this text. And so now seeing like kind of what potentially could start happening, and this like cyclical timeline and alternating timelines and stuff like that, I'm really curious to see what's going to happen, and I want more of that. I hope there's more of that. I'm gonna be really sad if there's not. It also seemed very similar to what was going on with Nynaeve and her accepted like test. It reminded me a lot of that. Or is that a portal stone too? Don't tell me. But I was thinking about that, because what was happening to Nynaeve and what happens when they enter and travel through the portal stones seemed very similar to me. Also, Selene. Does any woman not like Rand? I don't know why they like him. Is it because he's tall? I don't know. I don't feel like he has a whole lot of personality. I'm not a Rand hater, okay? I just feel like of all the characters, he's my least favorite. And everybody in the book seems to be like in love with him. But anyway, so Selene shows up all in white, and I'm like, okay, just nobody else in this world. And this woman is showing up. She's like the most beautiful specimen of a human being dressed in pristine white, and she just shows up and miraculously finds you guys. And like, oh God, Jesus Christ. I really enjoyed that I did catch on to who she was. I don't remember who was telling the story of Lanfear, but I remember being like, that's her. That's her. She's just constantly like, pick up the horn, Rand. Take it. We'll go. We'll be together forever, and you can use your powers, and it'll be awesome. And it's like, Rand's like, I'm a shepherd. No, thank you. No, thank you. We could be together, but like, no, thank you on the horn. Like, you're beautiful, but pass. I'm gonna pass on the horn. Not for me. One of the things I was missing out of this book is I really liked Perrin in the first book. I loved him and Egwene going off and like experiencing the stuff with Elias and the wolves. And I like that he got to use his powers a little bit. The title Sniffer made me laugh every time, by the way. Kind of a silly name, but whatever. Like, it's okay to sniff out dead things, but it's not okay to talk to wolves. I know which power I'd rather have. I wanted more of him, but I mean, obviously there's plenty more books to get more Perrin. But I really like his character. He's my favorite right now. I know everyone loves Matt. Hopefully I figure out why in book 3, because at this point, his addiction to the dagger makes him a terrible person to read about. He's just really cranky all the time, which I get. He's got a cursed dagger attached to like his soul essentially, but kind of annoying. Kind of a jerk. Not a huge fan of Matt in these 2 books. But don't worry, I have an open mind. I will give him a chance. I'm sure I will love him right along with everybody else. But at this point in my life, it's like Rand, Matt. And Rand is like, and Nynaeve's like off the charts up here. I don't know. So I should rank them, I guess. Maybe I'll rank them. Maybe I'll rank them. Who knows? I'm crazy. I really like ranking things, so maybe I will. back to Egwene and Nynaeve and Elaine and Min. They go through the Waygate with Leandrin. Leandrin betrays them. They go to the Shan-Chen. Elaine and Nynaeve escape. Min and Egwene get captured, and Egwene becomes a Damani, which is, you know, the collar around her neck. She's treated like a pet and just degraded and beaten and just taught to live like she's nothing, essentially. And I really loved their storyline, okay? I liked the darkness of it. I loved that when she was finally free, the level of anger that she had, this righteous anger that she deserved to feel toward these people that treated her like this. I love that the men didn't come to their rescue. I liked that they were able to save themselves without other people coming to rescue them. Like, they're not damsels in distress. They don't need them, okay? They're plenty powerful and intelligent on their own, and I really like that part of this book as well. And obviously everybody coming together and the storylines conjoining in the very end for the final scenes, the last 100 pages of this book, which are really good. Mat calling the horn, Arthur Hawkwing coming with all the heroes of, the heroes of legend, whatever it is, the ghosties. I don't know what they are. It reminds me of the part in The Lord of the Rings with Aragorn. It was like, ghosts, destroy for me. But I liked how when they showed up, Rand's like, Egwene, she's in danger, and they're like, oh, who's there? It's always a woman with you. Like, I thought that was comical. I did expect Ingtar? I did expect Ingtar to be a dark friend, because the level of obsession that he was having with that horn, it was growing and growing and growing every time. And it might be because Michael Kramer's audio voice for him made him seem like aggressive. And I was like, Ingtar seems to be getting a little bit upset about things more lately than usual, and it's getting worse. We're getting worse. And I did anticipate him being a dark friend, but I liked his self-sacrifice in the end, and how he was basically like redeemed and protected everybody and sacrificed himself. The sheathing of the sword within your own body, not so subtle foreshadowing by Lan in the beginning, but worked out in the end. I did enjoy the call back to that. I wanted more Lan and Moraine in this. Really more Lan. Honestly, both. I liked both. I like that Moraine had this relationship with the Amaryllis Sea, and that she was able to trust her enough to talk to her about Rand being the Dragon Reborn, and that whole scene in general where Rand's like having to pretend to be a lord, and he's basically getting set up to be the Dragon Reborn. Everybody else is like, Rand, you're the dragon, and Moraine's like trolling him like, oh yeah, there's just normal like riding clothes in there. It's like all this fancy lord stuff, and she's like, I'll just stick this dragon banner in there, it's fine. Like, everyone's like, Rand, you're the dragon. Rand's like, oh, I'm a shepherd. And then finally at the end of the book, Rand's like, okay, I guess you're right. And he's the Dragon Reborn, and he accepts it. And that's really cool. I'm glad that that part of his storyline is over, that he's like, okay, this is it. I guess this is my fate, and I have finally accepted it. And I think I potentially will start to like him more now that he's not like in denial essentially of his fate. But I don't knock his character for being in denial. Like, no matter how many things pointed to him being it, it probably seemed really unlikely to himself that somebody from such a small town would just be this person that's supposed to defeat Balsamon and, you know, save the world essentially. Seems pretty unlikely, and I can understand his hesitancy to believe that of himself. So that's that. Those are my thoughts on The Great Hunt. I really liked it. I don't know how I'm going to rate it. 4 to 4.5 stars maybe? Not quite 5, because there were some moments that I did feel were a little bit slow, like I said at the beginning, which isn't really to say that I still really like this book. There were just some moments, some POVs that seemed very like out of place. But these are just nitpicking things. Like, I did really like this book, and like I said, I've already started The Dragon Reborn, so keep an eye out for that video coming to you hopefully in September. So I'm gonna get out of here. Like, comment, and subscribe if you'd be so kind. Hit the notification bell if you'd like to see more content from me, and stay tuned because there'll be more to come.